everyone, the Gearhead Hamza here, and today we'll be making a board game. Well, repurposing a board game, but still, you know what, close enough. Anyway, so yeah, a YouTube channel I've been watching a bunch of lately is called Stumpt, and they have played a game called CodeName, which, okay, looks interesting, but I don't have that game, but I want to play it. It looks like something fun and something I can do on this channel for the Gearhead Gang series. So, well, how do I do that? Then I remembered I have snake oil. Yes, and snake oil has these item cards, which on the back have a bunch of words. Broom, danger, underwear, beach, sword, grass, bread. Like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I need. A bunch of cards that have simple generic words on them that would be perfect for the Codename game. There's only one catch. I can lay these out in a grid, that's fine, but how does the Spy Master know what card is theirs? Well, officially, the original game has a bunch of cardboard cards on them with, like, basically each card has a bunch of markings showing what card belongs to which team and which one is the spy, or rather the assassin. It's like, great, okay. I've decided to take a completely different approach with marbles. I have these little guys here. Bright, colorful little marbles. I'll admit, I did originally consider using glass marbles. Problem is, I couldn't quite find them in the right colors, so these will do. Also, they're not quite in the right colors either, but they will work. So basically the idea is I want to build essentially a little wooden tray with think like a Connect 4 board. Yeah, think like Connect 4. So you have, I'm gonna have a bunch of popsicle sticks lined up vertically, creating there we go. Creating a bunch of vertical channels, and I have a bunch of them like that, where the balls can sit down, and that will give you basically your board layout. And then there'll be a space above that will be empty, so the idea is you shake it a few times, marbles get spun around, you drop it down, everything settles, maybe you have to shake it a little, everything settles, and now the Spy Master knows what color pieces are theirs and what colors are their opponents. Alright, and then in order to confirm what card is yours, I have these guys. Little glass, well, they're not marbles, they're like glass stones. They're squished marbles. Little guys like this. And so yeah, that's what we're doing today. We're building essentially a random number generator. Yay! So let's get started. Alright, so the first step I need to do is just lay out the board. I have a bunch of these, like, okay, so there's, I think they're plastic? These, like, little marble things. I know they are bumpy. I searched for a bunch of different, like, beads and marbles and whatnot, and honestly, these were in the best colors. Like, everything else was really weird colors. Like, I mean, okay, one other thing I did consider, I do have some here, are these beads here. Like, these came in a pretty decent set of colors, but they're not round, they're not spherical. I mean, okay, they're circular, they are round, but not spherical, so I'm not sure how well they will roll. Then again, I'm not sure how relevant rolling actually is. My second concern is consistent size, because they will be just... Okay, they'll be... Well, I'm losing them already. They'll just be sitting on top of each other like so. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Alright, so let's lay things out. So... You want just cue the time lapse. Okay, I'll admit, did not think this one through as much as I thought I did. Alright, so I went ahead and glued the boards together, like so, and on the back, just popsicle sticks joining them together, and on the corners, we got these little blocks, which the glue should be dry by now. Hey, and this will act as support for adding the side rails on, like so. Sorry I did not record all this, but turns out doing a time lapse of watching glue dry is still pretty boring. Entertainment! So, yeah, I just sort of skipped over that stuff. Alright, now that these boards are together, now time to lay out. Wait, didn't I already say I was going to lay out? Well, I changed my mind, so I'm going to lay out now. And, actually, I did a quick test just to see. One other thing I did is... Thing is, these popsicle sticks are very thin, and so they don't really stand up on their own. They fall over. So one thing that I did is I glued two of them together like this to make them a little thicker, and okay, bad example. Try this one. And now they stand upright on their own, which makes gluing much easier. You are a disappointment to me and your family. Alright, so one thing I've noticed is, or not noticed, but I need to make sure there's enough room for all of these little balls to fit. So I'm going to be using single length or single thickness wood on the sides, and then the double thick in the centers. And if I can get this arranged, cue the time lapse. Alright, and as you can see, I just barely have enough room for all of these to fit, which is great. Huzzah! Hip hip hooray and all such forth. Now I need to glue them in place. The other thing I need to do is cut them to length, because I don't want them to be too long. Remember, it needs to be a 5x5 grid, and if they're too long, some of the marbles can get stuck in the wrong channel. So I need to figure out how long to make them and where to glue them down. Also, I realized that I might need to add some blocks in the middle here because the stick's not quite long enough to go all the way to the top. And to solve the bottom, I'll just simply glue a stick on here and the same for the top. And then for the cover, I have one of these. Da-da-da-da! This is a lid to a container. I don't know where the container went, and it's got a crack in it, but I don't care. This will make for, I mean, maybe it'll work. I don't know. I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants right now. I got like 2 more days to finish this project. I just need it to work. Alright. See you in a bit. Well, what do you know? It's exactly half the length. Like, almost dead on. So if I cut these sticks in half, perfect. I get exactly what I need for the 5 stack. Yay! Alright, so now I have my little wooden sections made. Like this. And you may be asking, there should be a much more sensible way to cut wood. And you'd be right. I do have saws, but they're outside. So, because I'm lazy, I'm using this. Yeah! Alright, so as you may have counted, I now have 6 of these, and I only need 5, so I got 1 spare. Yay! Now, time for more gluing. Cue the not time lapse. Alright, so I've glued on the sides of it. It should be dry by now. Let's see. Take all the clamps off. There we go. Alright. So I added on these blocks here and these side rails all around. And so now the marble stays inside. Woo! Now, I feel like some of you may have some issues with the whole lack of on-screen building in this build video. And to that I say, your concerns are valid and will be further investigated within the next 2 to 3 business days. Until then, please enjoy this jump cut. Alright, and one jump cut later, here we are! And what's going on here? The lighting is all wrong. So normally I record these things at nighttime for consistent lighting, but I'm kind of on a time crunch right now, so yeah, you're just gonna have to deal with the sun in the background. But right. So what I have here is, if I take the clamps off, the frame basically done. Da. So here you can see the slots, and as it turns out, I'm bad at math. I only need 4 of them, so I have 2 spare. If any of my 5th grade math teachers are watching, hi. Yeah, I'm an embarrassment. All right, so just as a quick demonstration, I can just throw the marbles in, like so. And yeah, they nice and neatly lay down. I can scramble them around a bit. And yeah, they sit nicely. Except, well, you may have saw that. Yeah, it turns out gravity, only can keep them in for so long. And if you need to set this upright, yeah, that happens. So, we're going to need to put a lid on this thing. Thankfully, I have this, which I realize I've already showed you. But regardless, yeah, I'm just basically going to put it on like so. And because this is plastic, I'm not 100% sure how well the glue will work on it. And second of all, I want this to be removable in case something jams or I need to change out the marbles or whatever, or something breaks or whatever. So I'm going to be using some screws. Probably 4 screws in the corners. I may or may not add screws here. Here's a funny thing. I made a mistake. Among many mistakes, but I made one important mistake. Among many important mistakes, but the one I want to talk about in this instant is the placement of these edge cubes. Or corner cubes? Whatever. The corner cubes are fine. Basically, so because I have these popsicle sticks in the center here, it means that the base, there's a step here. And I accounted for that step on the corner cubes, where I basically raise them up slightly so they are flush with the bottom here. Same on here. Problem is, I did not account for that on these edge cubes. And so as a result, they are flush with the popsicle sticks, but not the base. And, well, that means that on the opposite side, the top surface is sunken down slightly compared to the corners. So if I want to screw everything down, I'm going to have to account for that. Also, one other quick thing I've noticed is when the marbles sit in the tray, they sit a little bit proud. So, yeah. Unlike my pride, they are raised up a bit. And that's a problem, because if I were to just simply slap the lid on as is, they're stuck. They don't go nowhere. They'll just jam the system up. So what I'll need to do is cut out a few spacers, glue them onto the corners, just enough to raise it above the surface of the marbles. That way they can still roll freely. here we are in the great outdoors. New location, yeah. I'm gonna have to do some cutting, which will create a lot of dust, so I decided not to do it inside. So, yeah, okay, starting with this. Okay. Well, stay. As you can maybe see, I honestly cannot see my viewfinder in this sunlight, so bleh. Anyway, as you may or may not be able to see, I added the corner blocks, or spacers, or whatever the hell you want to call them, and that will hold the lid up. And because I am nothing if not indecisive, I changed my mind. Instead, I'm going to be sacrificing this container because I think it has a nicer lid, therefore, we'll make a nicer cover. So let's get started. So, I cut most of it away, but unfortunately I made a small crack. I have no idea if you can see that. So, I'm gonna ignore this line and actually work from the opposite end. So, now I got the panel cut out, and, I may have made a slight oversight. Yeah, oops, I got a line in the middle of my sheet. Oh well, a little TLC and some elbow grease will clean that off, no problem, lickety split. Despite it being called a permanent marker, on some materials, it's not all that permanent. shit. Well, fuck. Fuck, shit, fuck, crap, bitch, shit, fuck. My project broke. Alright, no worries, don't panic, I can fix this. I have more glue. Yeah, this, puts me back a ways. Also, on a side note, the lighting has changed again. It's nighttime. Yeah, it gets dark pretty quick this time of year. So, also I may have had a lengthy lunch. But don't worry, I can fix this. Nothing to worry. It's not like I have to get this done by tonight. No. And I have work tomorrow. Well, my boss isn't gonna mind if I'm a little groggy. Alright, well, in all seriousness, yeah, this did not work. No shit, Sherlock. But no, I tried putting the screw in, and as you can clearly see, I mean, it went through the plastic nicely. I did decide to drill the plastic a little bit larger because I didn't want risk cracking the plastic with putting a screw in. Hindsight, I should have done the exact same with the wood. I do have a drill bit that's larger, and it will mean that the screw will have less bite into the wood, but at this point, I don't care if it's slightly less bite, I just need it to fit. Also, yeah, this wood is starting to crack and split on me, so not good. Wrong way. Yep, gonna have to fix this. Right, fixing time. Where did I put my screwdriver? Found it. Okay, yeah, the fact that I need to wrench on it just to get it undone. When it took an effort to put the screw in, that should have been a warning sign that something was wrong. Yep. Don't worry, I can fix this. I'm not nervous. You nervous? It's not like I also have to paint this as well and, you know, make all of the tokens as well, and it's like not very much time left, and you know, at this point, I am seriously considered just literally taping this thing together. Like, right. Just ignore the eye twitch. Eye twitches are normal, right? Also, I think my bottle is now glued closed, which is always fun. There we go. If you're wondering why I'm taking the entire lid off, is because, well, I don't know what happened, but somehow the glue is starting to go foul, and it's like, yeah. So, it's more like maple syrup than what... It's basically the consistency of maple syrup. And so, as a result, instead of using the built-in nozzle to... Like, the idea is you're supposed to use this nozzle to squirt the glue on, but I've been having to make some creative liberties using a paper clip as a makeshift paintbrush. So, let's paint the town in glue! so here we are out in the spooky void. Ooh. Yeah, I've never tried recording outdoors at night, so this looks way creepier on camera than in real life. Trust me. It's not as spooky as it looks. But I gotta admit, I love how creepy it looks. Even though this is not supposed to be a spooky video, this is supposed to be a build video. But, I mean, it is Halloween after all. It is the season, I guess. Or almost. Watch, I upload this way after Halloween. Oh god, please. Anyway, right. So, Humpty Dumpty is back together, and, hopefully it'll stay that way. Now, my plan is, where the heck did I put such things? I forgot them inside. I'll be right back. Alright, got them. So in here, I have a bunch of little drill bits, and hopefully one of these will be correct. Was it this one? Yes. Okay, so that's the bit I used for this plastic piece, and I believe it's a 4mm? Yes, 4mm. So, right. Let's get drilling. You know what, before I ruin this main piece of wood, let's do a test drill on some sacrificial parts. Alright, I'm through. And $1,000,000 question, will the screw fit? Has anyone seen my screwdriver? Did I leave it inside the house like an idiot? Turns out I forgot my screwdriver. BRB. Found it! You know what? Actually, okay. I'll do this as a test, but if this doesn't work, I have a plan B, plan C, plan C, plan C. Instead of screwing into the wood and having the wood bite into the screw, or, well, the screw bite into the wood, I can always do a through hole and bolt it using, well, a nut and bolt. And that'll do the same trick. So, I do have options. But right now, this is my option I want to try. And drum roll, please. Alright, that seems to work. Yeah, this lighting setup is terrible. I will be the first to admit that. But the screw at least seems to be holding. Again, it's to hold a flimsy piece of plastic. It doesn't need to be that strong. Right, let's do it on the main piece then. Ha ha ha, would you look at that? It works. It bloody well works. It's not the prettiest thing I've ever made. In fact, it's arguably one of the ugliest. Hey, it works. Just don't touch it from the backside. Very sharp. Ow. But now I just need to repeat the process 3 more times. And voila. 'Tis complete. Well, not really. Obviously, it doesn't exactly stand up on its own, and it can't lie flat because, well, your opponents can see down on the board. The point is to be secretive, that your opponents can't see anything. So, definitely gonna have to figure out some way to hold it upright. Probably gonna have like a popsicle stick here or something, just something very quick throw together as a brace or support or whatever. I'm not sure if I want it to be fully upright or if I want it to be leaning at an angle. I think I want it to be at a slight angle, but I don't know. I definitely want it to be mostly upright because if it's too level, too flat, like, you can easily see it. And if you see it, that gives away the game. So, definitely needs to be more upright than not. Anyway, let's get out of here because this is way too spooky for this channel. And meet you back inside. It's nice to be out of that void. My comfy space. Oh, my sweet, sweet comfy space. Anyway, get this out of here. Anyway, so, right. I took the liberty of removing the cover once again. And now we're back to our basic frame. I was thinking of painting this, but due to tight deadlines, I'm gonna leave it raw wood for now. I'm noticing a trend. A trend I don't like, but regardless. So, right. Like I said, the next step is I need to mount this upright somehow, and yeah, ignore the mess. I'll clean it up later. Trademark, Hamster Boy Industries. Right, what do I have in terms of materials? Did I use all of my short... Oh, no. Found them! They're back here. Someone really should organize this place. Alright, I think these smaller guys will do. Yeah. Something like that. Oh. Yeah, I think something like that will work. Have it... If I mount this at like a 45-degree angle, this is mostly upright. This is what, like... maybe a 10 to 15 degree slope back. Yeah, that should be fine. That should do. All right, time to get a gluing. And voila! It is done! Or at least, well, done enough to the point where I'm like, I'm really bloody tired. I'm going to bed. So, yeah. As you can see, I added the legs, I added the front, and I put the marbles in. And they roll, mostly. Turns out 2 wooden spacers was not quite enough. They do still get a little stuck. I added a little bit of another spacer in there. It helps a lot. I can shake it around a bit, and they all fit into place. Alright. Well, the observant among you, and anyone who's actually played the game before, will realize that there's something missing. Even if you haven't played the game, you probably notice a missing spot. And that's on purpose, because, well, there's one last target we need to... My paper's sticky from glue. I'm gonna have a lot of work to do in the morning. Following morning. Um, but yes, so uh, I have 9 red targets, 8 blue targets, 7 neutral targets, so neither player should go for those. And what I need is 1 assassin target, where if you get the assassin, game over, buddy. Get out of here. So, right, BRB. All right, excuse me. Coming through, Scoochie. Yep, sorry. You're in my way. Right. That is where these come in. I made 2 because I didn't know if 1 would work, but yeah. These are our assassin targets. So, I'm too tired to do magic. I'll just get the screwdriver. And with that, she is done. Ta-da! Well, alright. I'll just say this right now. Well, I'm losing my marbles. Pun not intended. I'll say right now, this is not exactly how I hoped the project would end. I might still come back and finish this, but I was hoping, you might have saw in the opening image, I had some paint hiding in the background. I was hoping to blend these together, make a gray paint, and paint this a lovely shade of gray. How lovely. The other thing is tokens. After the cards are played and revealed by the players, we need some visual reminder that, hey, the player has already claimed the card. Originally, I planned to use bags of marbles, these like glass stones. But I don't have any stones in red. So, alternative idea. You may notice I cut out a bunch of these wooden panels earlier. The idea was supposed to be I have paints in red and blue, and we're going to paint these in those colors. No time, ran out of time, so I'm going back to plan A and just using the glass marbles, or glass stones or whatever. But I still have the problem of I have nothing in red. So I was tempted to use green instead of red, but I mean, come on. Green instead of red? What type of fools do you think we are? No. That will simply not do. So, instead... Where did I put the damn thing? There they are! I'm going to be using these plastic chips. I don't know what that was. I'll discover it in the morning. Yeah, so basically, how do I open this without going everywhere? My table's already a mess. Yeah, so basically, you got these like red plastic chips. You can place them down, and yeah, they're like bingo chips or whatever. So, yes, I realize that is such an awkward mismatch. Glass stones for one player, plastic chips for another. This is what happens when you give a guy like 3 days and almost no resources. You just have to make stuff up. Engineering at its finest. So, right. That's basically where I'll leave the project for now. I'll let you know how it goes and how it went. And yeah, we'll circle back around later. Bye for now. And we are back. The wagons have been circled, and we are once again where we left off. So, you might reasonably be asking yourself, how did it go? Did they love it? Well, it didn't exactly work the way I anticipated. Turns out, we went there, we had some fun, and the rest of the guys decided maybe we just have a quiet night off camera. Okay. Fine, you want? Fine. I put all this effort in this and anyway, so yeah, we decided to just have a game night off camera, just shoot the shit and enjoy ourselves. I begrudgingly went along with it, but on the condition that we meet up a few weeks later to do the video proper. So, we both win. Also, we get 2 game nights. Woo! So that means we have some time. Alright, so the 2 main things I want to do to finish the project, there's a few fancy things I could do, like maybe put hinges here so the legs pivot, and make a cross brace here as well, or something like, you know, make it fancy, but, I don't know how much I'm gonna actually care. So for now, I'm just gonna leave this as a rigid frame. I do want to add a coat of paint, at least a bare minimum of fancy. So yeah, just smother it in some paint. And as mentioned earlier, I have all these little squares, which will be my chips. Since I have time, I can paint them up properly. Here are my paints. I got blue, red, black, and white. No gray, though. Time to make color alchemy. Got a little thing of water. Got my brushes. Right. Cue the time lapse. Okay. I'm going to interrupt the time lapse for a second here and say, I'm not happy with that. That is way too dark. This is supposed to be blue? Nah. I want something a little bit brighter, a little bit jollier. So, unfortunately, I don't have any medium blue, but I do have some sky blue. So, if I mix a little bit of this in, hopefully it doesn't become an awful mess. You know what? I like that. That actually works just fine. That will be the color I go with moving forwards. I interrupt the time-lapse once again to point out two things. One, sorry about the contrast, white on white. Owl. Two, the other thing I find weird about at least this particular paint of white is that it doesn't really show up. I mean, it shows up, but it doesn't really, what's the word? It's not very opaque. That's the phrase I'm looking for. It's not very opaque on the wood. You can still see the tan color of the wood shining through the white paint. Not the same with the other colors. Like, the red is really good. The blue, mostly good. I can still see a little bit of the wood poking through, but for whatever reason, like, the white requires at least minimum 3 coats before it's solid white, which is unfortunate, but I'll live. I'll deal with it. And so now we just have to wait for the paint to dry. And we wait. Okay, I'll skip the boring part. Let's just jump to the good part. Alright, so the pieces are now dry, and honestly, I think they turned out okay. Not brilliant, but not awful either. I'm happy with them. So that's one thing done and dusted. And in fact, I even can put them in a little bag. That way we don't lose them. Yeah. And if you're wondering, no, I did not bother painting the edges, but that's fine. These pieces are not fitting in the bag quite as nicely as I was hoping. Taa Daa. Okay, I'll deal with that later. I'll set that to one side for now. We need to work on this. So, right. Step 1 is removing the front cover and the marbles inside. So let's begin. So now I put a coat of paint on the main board itself in a nice, lovely neutral gray. Almost a battleship gray, actually. I quite like that. The problem is, well, I ran out of paint. I could mix up more, but trying to color balance and mix up more paint identical to this tricky. And also, the more I think about it, the more I think maybe the entire thing in gray. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking black. Yeah, it'll look sleek and black. So black it is. Alright, so, assuming I haven't missed any spots, inevitably I probably have, but assuming I got everything, I think this is done. Well, except one thing, and I can't decide whether I want to go through with it or not. What do I do about the top edges? Do I pick it out in black, or do I leave everything forward-facing gray? Ooh, tough decision, tough decision. The problem is once I make a decision, if I turn it black, there's no going back. I mean, there is. I can always just mix up another batch of gray, but, against my better judgment, I'm gonna make it black. On second thought, I'll wait for the paint to dry, then I'll make it black. Ta-da! Alright, so while I wait for the paint to dry, I'm gonna clean up this mess. Alright, and we are done! Look at it! Look at it! Yeah. It is... I'm pretty happy with it, honestly. I think it looks really nice. Now all I have to do is put Humpty Dumpty together. And there we go. Ta-da! Overall, I'm rather pleased with it. Sure, it's not the greatest thing ever, but we had some fun along the way, and yeah, I think this looks rather respectable. Alright, so with all that said, this has been the Gear-Headed Hamster building whatever the heck this is, a randomizer, for the sake of fun. You take care, folks, have a good one, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.